And there we go. Okay, good morning, good evening, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another Toonkind at 12 FPS. My name is DEWP Kieran, DEWP. I am the server's local soundboard. I make funny hee hoo noises with my mouth. Sometimes they make you happy, and sometimes they make you go. But usually they're just for fun. So I hope you enjoyed them. Would my wonderful partner introduce themselves, and we can introduce our characters and the title of the FPS as well.
Hello, everybody. My name is Whis, and I'm bringing out young Master Chifley Forde today. He's having a time.
Yeah, and I'm bringing out my little bastard in a wheelchair, Lao Vis Blind. You know him, you hate him, you might love him, and that's a mistake. We're playing our fucking FPS diagnosis moron. I wonder which one of them this is about. That is the question, really. Which
It could be either. It depends on
it
how
could
well
be
this goes.
both. Plot twist. I mean, the
Uh,
biggest plot twist of this if it was neither of them.
mm-hmm.
That would be the big plot twist. Anyway, we should probably get started. So set the scene. I'm gonna roll firstly a survival because for those of you that don't know, Lau has essentially needs to talk to Chifley about something because something has come up and he needs to talk with Chifley about certain things and to see if be able to do a thing. But he hasn't actually he did essentially like send a letter initially, but it's been like a couple days and he didn't get a reply or anything. And he didn't send it through the post. He sent it through good old reliable Sol. You know, you better love him. If you hate Sol, I'm gonna have some fucking words with you, son. But
Sol is
yeah, I think
baby.
it
We love Sol.
just big baby man. If you hate them, I gotta have a discussion. I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna make you some awful Lao sandwiches, and we're gonna have a damn chat. Um, but anyway, he didn't get a letter back. So he's just kind of like, okay, I don't know why that is. I suppose I just have to go and speak to him face to face. And so I'm gonna roll survival. Because I think we did establish in that little RP we did, they exchanged addresses, didn't they?
They did, yeah.
Cool. Oh, why is your survival that high? What the hell? Okay. That is a 12 plus 4, that is 16. Alright, well, he's got your note for reference. He remembers taking down your details, he just kind of whips that out,
Mm.
takes a note of them, and makes his way over. Um, I would say it's probably about. Um, the thing is, Lam doesn't know your schedule, so he would probably pop in, like, later in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, like, probably after school let out. Um, and he knows that on occasion you do actually go, you usually go to pick up your sister from school. So he's like, okay, he's probably home now, so I should probably go and check and see. And he is gonna make his way over, and while he does, he's gonna make his way up to Chipley's apartment. That's a question actually. I presume Chipley's apartment has like a lift and stuff to get up.
I'm gonna go with yes, just because there are so many toons who don't have legs or where stairs would be an issue. So I think I'm just going to say that in Ankwell, accessibility is the standard, not
Thank goodness,
not a
thank you,
forethought,
Langfell.
an afterthought.
Yes. Yeah, so he takes a lift up, heads on out, double checks his the note again, make sure that it's the correct address and that he doesn't accidentally knock on the wrong door because he really doesn't want to deal with more people than he has to, and he just makes his way down the hallway to Chifley's door number, double again, checks the reference, and I'm gonna roll a quick whiz check here because there is something he might have to do that he may not remember to do. Okay, that is a 12. So right, so he reaches out and he just on your door. And he sits back and waits. He sits back and waits and he realizes, oh wait, and Just grabs his arm quickly, gives it a quick squeeze, and then lets go. And waits.
Okay. So do you want to roll a perception?
I do. Man, you're +2, aren't you, to perception? You are. You are bad at seeing. That's a nat 20. That's a nat 20.
Great.
I insult him and he's like, fuck you, I'm gonna see so goddamn hard. Spike blows this word, people.
Oh dear, brilliant. That's how the dice be. Okay, so Lau knocks and sits there for a little bit, and it's quiet in this apartment complex at the moment, and you're pretty sure that if Missy were here, because you have heard that Missy is approaching 6, and they're not known for their quietness necessarily.
Yeah.
So it is quiet. So it doesn't actually sound like the child is in the building. So there's that. And also because it's a nat 20, you know Sol well enough that you would kind of know the signs of when he's been around. Like, he's a giant sunflower, so I imagine he gives off some sort of sunflowery sort of scent. Would lead grass stains, maybe, especially if he busted the door down.
I was about to say, usually there's at least like a broken window or some chips in the brickwork. Typically there's like a cartoonish hole somewhere. They tend to pop up quite often, especially around the school district. People, I don't know if the school has even spent enough money to bother fixing the gate that Sol either jumps over or busts down. There might just be like a soul shaped hole in the school gate now because they just do it so often. They can't spend the money on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's no signs of Sol having visited. At least, I mean, this is the front door as well. I have to say,
Yeah.
Sol doesn't always take the front door.
That's
Sol
true.
can and will squeeze through windows. At least try to squeeze through windows.
Squeeze.
So, Whis, you know how big Sol is,
I do.
right?
I do.
You
I
do,
in fact know how
and you
big
know
Sol
how
is.
small windows can be, and you know how intelligent they are. They are not.
But even having said that, you would think that there'd be
Yeah.
some kind of indicator that Sol had been nearby.
Yeah.
And there is not.
Okay.
But because you are actively listening for somebody coming towards the door, you can't hear very much movement happening on the other side of that door. But what you do hear is there is the slightest sound of almost sounds like snoring. It's not, kind of snoring. It's more of a small, gentle buzz of a snore.
Snuffle snores.
Yeah.
Snuffling snores. Okay. Now, see, they're in later predicament for Lao because, on one hand, he really does need to talk to Chifley. Doesn't sound like Mitty is around, which, okay, interesting. Okay. Guess I'm gonna have to try and. He's knocked and he's waited, and someone is asleep in there. He doesn't think Chifley lives with anyone else, is the thing, so, gosh. He's gonna try and lockpick the door open. He's gonna fiddle the door open. He hasn't got a lockpick kit or anything, so I think this is just it's just gonna be a straight D20. He doesn't have a dex modifier either. This is just straight D20. You break the door. Get a 15.
Nice. I reckon that would do it. Like, maybe the door hadn't quite pulled back in the jam enough for the lock to actually engage. So, like, while it was closed and it wasn't going to pull open, the lock hadn't quite clicked over yet. So, with a little bit of just a good little shove, Lao is able to turn the handle just enough and then push the door so that the lock doesn't actually engage when he tries to get the door open.
Okay. Right. So he's just opened the door. He's just gonna make his way in. Actually he is gonna roll perception because he wants to make sure he knows who is here.
Mm-hmm.
That's an 18.
Dang.
+2, that's a dirty 20.
He's doing
What the
alright.
hell is going on with him today? He's doing alright. He's on high alert.
Great. So the apartment that Lau has let himself into is decked out in shades of blue and white, which, you know, seems Chifley speed. And it's dark. Like, the lights are off and the curtains across the window have been drawn. And now that you can see the window, yeah, there's no way that Sol has been through there any times recently.
No, there will definitely be traces.
Yeah. But there is somebody in here, and he's face down on the couch.
Okay, so thing is, Lau knows he's not dead because he heard snoring. So that is one thing. Mental checklist off. Okay, he's alive. That's good. But also he is face down, asleep, and mm, he's just gonna like go over like actually overall stealth. He's not gonna try and wake you up. And you don't have a modifier for this, do you, mate? No, you don't. Come on. It's a 14. Not bad. Um, I don't know if Chifley, whilst unconscious, would roll anything to notice this, or if there was be a passive perception thing.
Look, Chip's passive perception is lower than that stealth's roll, so I'm just gonna say that he doesn't notice as Lau wheels up to him.
Oh, cool. Gosh, Lau's man. I was just gonna kind of look at him for a little bit. Like, I'm gonna roll insight and see like if he can figure anything out from him just having a nap on the sofa. Like, is this normal for him, or is this just like a long day kind of deal?
Mm.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I knew this was gonna happen. That's what I thought.
Mm.
Sort of thought. When it matters, when it matters, you don't get a nat 20. You
Yeah.
get a 3.
Yeah. Well, look, as best as Lau can figure at the moment, just based on the way that Chifley looks and the way that he's got one arm sort of flopped off the side of the couch. It doesn't look like he's sort of set himself up with the intent to nap. He just sort of ended up there.
Okay. Cool. Let me roll something then. Because Lao has confident decision. He knows what he's going to do now. Oh, Lao reaches underneath his blanket and he pulls something out. And I'm going to roll sleight of hand. Gently, can you do this? Oh no. Really? 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 This? Oh, this? He's not fucking awake! He's not awake! Why are you rolling an at 20 for this? Fuck me. Well, he definitely doesn't notice. That's fine. Okay. I'll tell you what that is whenever Chifley wakes up. If Chifley ever bloody wakes up. Bloody hell. Okay. So Lau does that. Whatever he does, he makes not a peep of a sound, and then he turns back around and he's gonna head towards the kitchen if he can see one.
Oh, yeah.
He's gonna put the kettle on.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
And I'm. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say the kitchen is easy enough to find. It's a clean kitchen, and there are signs of 3 people having been living in this apartment at least recently. Or having
3?
3 having been in here recently.
Look at that. He's gonna furrow his brow because who else does Chifley? Because I'm really sorry. My last FPS, it's very hard for him to like imagine people outside of his sphere of like knowing. So he's like, okay, who else does Chifley know other than me that would be here? And I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna roll history. It's fucking. His history is a +6, but God, that's a fucking 7. That's
Yeah, like the limited amount of conversation that Lao and Chifley have done about their personal lives thus far, Lao's coming up empty. Like, the only people that he knows that Chifley's talked about is Missy. That's it.
Okay, this is kind of okay. I did forget to ask, how clean is the apartment as he comes in?
It's pretty clean.
Okay.
But the thing that Lao does notice is there are a few boxes of stuff sort of shoved into the corner with things like living room and bedroom and kitchen and things like that, like moving boxes, which have been put into like the various different places. Like there's a few in the main room and one or two in the kitchen that look like they are not unpacked.
Okay. Because the thing is, Lao's given this address before, and if they're not unpacked, then that means that. This, man. This is me due trying to figure out and remember timelines and stuff. Is this meaning that Chifley has packed all his stuff up, or is this Chifley has just moved into a new apartment? Because my brain is
Neither.
foofing at the moment.
Neither.
Okay,
The stuff
okay.
that is set up around the house looks like it's well settled. Like there's some furniture here which you can kind of, if you were to look, you could see the marks in the carpet that they'd been here for at least
Okay.
a year. This is all new stuff of someone moving in.
Oh, okay. All right. So Lao doesn't know that, but Ju knows that now. Okay. Lao is still kind of like, what the fuck? Well, who? Okay. He's just gonna squint at the like plates and stuff that have been left aside and the boxes, and he's just, wait, that's not relevant at the moment. And he's gonna put the kettle on. And let me roll for this. Huh? Cool. That's good. Okay,
Ooh.
dirty 20 on making tea. Wow. Okay. Um, I'm not gonna roll anything high when it comes to consequential stuff. I'm calling it now. It's only high rolls for the small things. Um, that's the way it be.
Fair enough.
But hey, do you want to roll? Would you want to roll for Chifley because Lao's gonna just be in the kitchen making tea for a little
Sure,
bit and going through the
I'll roll
cupboards.
I'll roll him a
You know what?
perception.
Actually, I'm gonna roll investigation just to see how noisy he can be because if he rolls low, he's gonna be a fucking noisy bastard.
Oh, okay. Do that first.
Oh, no, no, no. Why do you roll good when I don't want you to? It's a 17. He finds the tea fine, probably.
There you go.
Oh my word, you
Oh,
nosy.
let's see. But that's a 19 on a perception check from Chifley, so he can still hear Lao moving around in the kitchen, which admittedly is not set up to be optimized for somebody in a wheelchair. And getting the tea and getting the kettle on and all that sort of stuff, like in Lao's apartment, it's all set up so that Lao can access it. Whereas this apartment is not set up that way, so it takes a bit of effort. And so Chifley does clock, hey, there's noise and something, and his initial thought is maybe Missy and Dorian are home, and he just sort of groans and pushes his head up off of the sofa.
I will say, as you push up, also that 19, you feel something on you that wasn't there before, and what you heard from the kitchen, you don't know what language it was, but it was quite guttural, coming from in there. There's a language being spoken you don't understand.
Right, okay. What languages do you understand, Chif?
Unless you know Orcish or Dwarvish.
Nope. Nope. Nope.
Oh,
Chip's very basic when it comes to languages. Okay, cool. I'm very used to, Rye or Hattie, who just have a million languages. But anyway, neither here nor there. Okay, so he has something on him. He's some sort of weight, and he's just got to prop himself up on his arms a little bit and slowly process that in that I've only just sort of woken up kind of way. and then turn a bit to see what is on him.
What's on you, Chifley? It's with that perception, it's weird. You probably smelt it before you felt it. Um, which is not a funny little pun. If you want to make that a funny pun, go ahead, but put in the comments how you think funny that could be. But anyway, sorry, my brain's being a bit of a blur at the moment. You smelt it before you felt it, and it smelt like a wood fire. Like someone had put you. It smells like someone had put you like right close next to burning wood, and you look over at this thing, and it's an old, almost threadbare blanket.
Hmm.
You can roll an investigation on it if you want.
Yeah, why not? Why not? What's your investigation, boy? Yeah.
I'm gonna roll perception for Lao while that's going on.
+2.
Why are you rolling? Why are you rolling? What's going on? He doesn't roll this high usually. It's weird.
Today is the day
Why
of
are
Lao
you
Vis Blind.
No, don't say that. He needs those days. He needs those reservation days. Okay, so Lau will probably hear you awaken, but before I get to that, I'll say with a 60 on the investigation, you're kind of careful when you handle this because it does look old. It looks like it looks like old and brown, but not with dirt. Like this thing has been patched up with many different kinds of materials over the years. There's like tiny little spots on it that are just not the same as the stuff around it, and you can feel the stitching. It's quite rough, but it's thick.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just it's whilst it is a load of different kinds of materials, overall, even if the texture changes, it is still quite soft throughout. And as you hold it up like closer to inspect, that waft of like a smoky charcoal smell comes off of it.
Mm-hmm.
And you get the impression that if this thing had been washed, you think this is probably something that's been dried over many, many campfires to have gotten a smell like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But with an 18, Lau probably hears you get up with that groan, and he calls from the kitchen. Chifley, it's about time you woke up. I was just finishing. Shit! And you hear like a clink. Bugger. I was just finishing making something up. Just give me a moment. I'll be in just a moment. And I'm gonna roll a dex check. Do drop it all. That is a 9. Gosh. With a 9, that is lower than average. I would say you hear him like pouring the tea out there, and you can just hear like quiet mutterings again in a language you don't understand, with the occasional "For fuck's sake, just stop that! Why don't you fucking?" He just as he's pouring. Um, you eventually hear the as the kettle is put down, and oh god, no, this makes sense as to why this happens, because he can't move his goddamn chair with both of his hands full. He needs at least one hand free. Um, so you see Mel come in through the fucking doorways, and he's got two fingers wrapped around like two mugs, and you can see one of his hands is shaking because they're like what kind of mugs? I would assume they're like clay mugs or like what are they like china?
Yeah, they're your normal dollar store cylindrical white mugs with they're all very
Uh,
uniform, but
oh,
like they've got different like pictures on them. Like one's got a picture of a cat and one's got strawberries and the kind of basic mass-produced cheap mugs.
yeah. He's probably like just picked two random. I don't know what images they would be on there. Yeah, that I'll leave that up to you. What one you want to pick?
I can have the
Um,
one with the caffeine molecule on it.
hey, that's what he fucking needs. Um, but yeah, you do see he's got his two fingers hooked in these ceramic mugs, and that hand is kind of just shaking a bit, even though it's resting on the one arm of the wheelchair. You see as he's trying to be careful moving along, but every time he moves, his hand jolts and just tea sloshes out on the floor, and he stops and he waits. And then he goes to move again, and it splashes again. He sighs and he waits. And gosh, I'm gonna roll a quick intelligence check for him. Yeah, that's what I thought, you dumb bastard. Um, five. It does not occur to him that he could have used unseen servant to carry this shit because he's a Housen. But never mind. Never fucking mind. It's too late for that. So you basically see Lamb coming towards you, spilling tea across your goddamn floor. And by the time he gets to you and puts the mugs on the table, they're about like three-quarters full each. And just tea slopped down the side as he just leans back and fucking just flops his head back on the back of the chair and says, you really need to make things a bit easier to get around in here. It's a little difficult making myself a proper guest if I can't actually do the things that a guest is supposed to do.
Chifley's just sort of staring at Lao, but like not staring. He's blinking, but like he's just sort of watching Lao in that very slow, I'm just still trying to process that you're in my house kind of expression. Lao, I wasn't expecting you today. I'm sorry. And he just sort of stops and rubs at his face with his hands. Do you want to roll another, like, insight or something on him now that he's not face down?
Yes. Guess what?
Mm.
Do you want to guess?
Is that
Do you want to guess what? Do you want to guess what? Do you want to guess fucking what?
What?
It's 7. It's a whole 7.
Not a whole lot. That's, I think, the same as what you got last time, which is extra funny.
It is. I'm gonna say he's too distracted looking at the tea stains on his blanket, and he can't wrinkle his face because again his face doesn't quite work like that. But you could just see his beak kind of turned down, and his eyes just kind of narrow, and he's just looking at his blanket because he's just spilt tea on it, and now he has to fucking clean it. God damn it!
Yeah.
He doesn't have like prestidigitation either. He's got to scrub this shit out. Damn it.
With that 7, though, like, Lao is going to be able to get that Chif's tired, and tired in a significant way, not just in a I've had a long day kind of way. I think that's all he can kind of get in the sort of distracted state that he's in. Chifley's just going to sort of look at Lao and listen to him muttering about the spilt tea, and then he's just going to give a little motion with his hand, and he's going to cast prestidigitation from where he sits.
Cool. You cast prestidigitation. The tea stains just poof, pop out, and Lao. I'm gonna roll perception. Do you notice? Yeah, you do. Okay, that's a 14. That's fine. As he's kind of looking at a stain, and as you cast it, it just kind of slowly fades out, and he's just like, right, yes. Oh, thank you, Chifley. You didn't have to do that. I would have just cleaned it at home. I've heard that prestidigitating things too often can cause some damage to them, so either way, thank you for that. It's fine. And he just kind of like pushes one of the mugs towards you and says, you said you didn't expect me today. Presume you didn't get my letter.
No, I haven't gotten any particular mail.
Lao's gonna pick up his mug of tea, and he's just gonna hold it, not in the hand that carried it. He's gonna carry it in the other hand. He's just gonna take a quick sip, hold it against the arm of his chair, and look back at you and say, "Oh, I suppose that's what I get for sending Sol to do a postman's work. But again, there's only so much I can do, and the postman charging a stupid amount of money just to send one letter. It's ridiculous. I may as well just use Sol if I can. They usually Well, they're usually good at finding people, but it seems that this particular occasion they decided to go on people wander, as they tend to do. Uh, but anyhow, you kind of turns away from his ramble, looking at his teeth to look at you, and tilts his head to the side. One of the curls on the back of his head just twitches faintly and says, "You seem rather tired, Chifley."
Uh, yeah, I haven't not really been sleeping so well, but it's fine. It's I'm able to get small naps here and there, so I'm making do.
God damn it, Whis. You don't know why this annoys Lao as much as it fucking does, but I had an FPS before this where he dealt with another person who wasn't dealing with Seep so well. So, who boy, do you want to roll me an insight, Chifley?
Sure, I can
Oh my
definitely do
gosh.
that.
He's not
15.
hiding this. Yeah. 15, you look at this man and he looks so fucking annoyed. Like, it is at you, but also you don't it's not wholly at you, but you're definitely a part of this. And he just kind of why why again, why another one, why do I keep having to deal with this? Right, fine. Chifley, just because you're catching naps doesn't mean you're getting proper rest. That isn't rest. A nap is not enough. You need sleep, proper sleep, in order to not only look after yourself, but to look after your sister as well.
He looks a little bit sheepish at that, and he'll pick up the tea and give it a little bit of a sip in partially to procrastinate having a verbal response to that remark.
I
Um,
will say it's good tea. Because I rolled a dirty 20. It's pretty good tea.
mm,
It's not
mm.
bad.
um, yeah. So he's kind of doing that. Even without rolling insight, Lau can tell that his Chifley's expression is a, yeah, you're right, and I know you're right, but kind of, kind of face behind the teacup.
Hmm. Okay. Well, Lao's just gonna kind of lean his beak against the other hand that hasn't got the tea and just raises an eyebrow that he doesn't have, but you can kind of see the expression in the shape of his eye and just say, Chifley, you don't. Chifley, I can see it on your face. You know I'm right. What? Why aren't. Why aren't. I can't believe this is the second time in the past few days I've had to say this, but what is causing you this what is preventing you from sleeping, Chifley? What's causing this? And he just gestures with, actually, you know what? I'm gonna roll a quick intelligence save. Oh yeah, that's what I like to see. That's what I like to see. Let me just double check my mod on that. I mean, it doesn't matter. I got a nat one, but still. He gestures with his hand that has the tea in it. He's only drunk about a quarter of that, so there's still half a cup in there. He just kind of gestures with that, and as he gestures, tea just it just goes. It just fucking goes, and he watches it in slow motion as it sails across out the cup, just splatters across the coffee table. And he's just, I think I need to stop making these, and he just lightly clunks it onto the table, and oh, D10. Yeah, okay. And he reaches underneath his hammer space, and eventually he pulls out quite a thick blanket. And you look at this blanket, Chifley. It's kind of like it's green and a little bit grey and kind of red. It's not something you've probably seen before. And I was just gonna, well, I'll just have to clean this one out when I get home instead. And he just kind of thumps it onto the table and just leaves it there. He's not gonna scrub it. He'll deal with that later. Um, and then just he pops the mug back on the top of the towel that is now on the table and looks back at Chipley and says, Well, you seem to think that for some reason you can't sleep properly. So again, I'll ask you, what is preventing you from sleeping, Chifley?
I don't actually know, if I'm honest. I
Roll insight.
me.
Roll
Okay.
insight.
Okay.
Cool, 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 cool. That's what I fucking. God damn it! It's a 10. Annoyed at this man. I'm so annoyed at this man.
Oh dear. Um. Yeah. So Chifley's just sort of fiddling with the rim of his teacup, just sort of running his fingers along it. It's been getting worse, but I can't just stop. I've got work to do. I got things to do.
Chifley. Chifley. You can't work and do the things you need to do unless you sleep. This is, believe it or not, Chifley, this is the second time I've had to tell someone that you can't just avoid sleep, or can't you can't just dodge sleep because it causes you grief. You can't just stop sleeping because it's difficult or because you've got other things to do. You need to sleep in order for you to have the energy to do things, Chifley.
It's
You're tired. You're clearly tired.
not for a lack
You
of
don't.
trying, though.
So, what you're telling me is that you can't sleep. You don't know why you can't sleep. And, Chifley, you work at the ECCR, don't you?
I
If
do.
I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Tell me, Chifley, have you perhaps informed any of your co-workers or your boss that perhaps you are having such issues?
No.
Al's just gonna very slowly lift both his hands up, lean forward, up his hands around the top of his beak, very much in a, very much like this, like a boy, pretty much. Except imagine between those hands is a beak. And he's just gonna look at Chifley and say, so, yeah, exactly, in that particular equation, in that particular string of words, do you think is the issue, Chifley?
No. I was hoping it would go away on its own. These things usually do. And he just sort of
Chifley?
rubs at his face again, and sort of his fingertips sort of linger on his temples a little bit.
Mm. Okay, I'm gonna roll something after I say this. I was gonna say, Chifley, say these things usually do. Is this a reoccurring problem of yours?
Increasingly. Yeah.
Cool. Medicine time. Mmm, that's a tasty roll. For a guy who's a cleric, he only has a +2 in his medicine, but that still gives him a dirty 20.
Nice!
Nice.
Yeah. Chip's not doing so hot.
No shit. No fucking shit. Hmm. Okay, with a dirty 20, would you say this is. How urgent would you say it would be for Lau to get this thing checked out?
Well, Chip's not going to keel over in the next, hour or anything. But like, it's very obvious to Lau that whatever is afflicting Chifley is impacting his ability to function. And Chifley doesn't seem necessarily coping with it particularly well. Like, it's not something he's had for his entire life, and therefore is kind of used to it. Like, people who like have, like, you know, chronic pain or whatever do kind of adapt to having it, but this is new, and Chif is not dealing with it so well.
Cool. Okay. Lao is gonna try something. Let me just check some spells. Make sure I can do this. Why do clerics have so many spells? Damn, it's so hard to go through them all.
You should try multi-classing them.
No, I can't live. Don't torture me in such a manner. Right. Da, 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 da. You know what? Rolled a 20 on his medicine. I think he might try a detect magic. Because, I mean, well, actually, you know what? He's just gonna kind of come out of the prayer pose he put himself in and just sit a little bit more back in his chair, and he's gonna very slowly make his way over towards Chifley and stop just like a couple feet away from him and look and say, Chifley, I want to try something just to see. I'm more of a physical healer than, and he just taps the side of his head. A mental expert. I will never claim to be. I'll never claim to be a mental expert. But may I at least see if this is some sort of magically induced sort of thing?
I would appreciate the assistance. Oh.
Okay. It's just gonna nod and be, right, okay then. Just give me a second. And, well, that's an object, so it's not gonna work. Yeah, it's gonna be detect magic. Cool. So detect magic, I can sense the presence of magic within 30 feet of me. And it appears as an aura. So I'm just gonna straight up cast that.
You don't have to roll for that one, it just do.
Yep. I mean, I know what I'm gonna see because reasons. But Whis, is there anything you think that Lao may see additionally?
Yeah. So there is definitely an aura of magic around Chif. Like, part of it is going to be he is a spellcaster, so there's that very faint, innate sort of vibe that all spellcasters kind of have when you use this spell on them. But there is I should really remember and write down what school this is. I think conjuration might be the right one. Let me look them up.
Conjuration.
Let me look them up.
Okay,
Schools of
you can
Magic
just say
5e. But there is definitely something here. Okay. Maybe an enchantment? Okay, I'm not 100% certain. I'd have to look into them in more detail, which
that's
I won't
fine.
do now.
Just say it's some kind of magic.
There is something there.
Okay. So Al's just gonna follow his brow and say, Chifley, there's at least one issue that is afflicting you, and one, and he again taps his own head. I'm not, and you can roll an insight if you want.
Sure. 19.
Damn. You look at Lao and it's very clear he's frustrated. Like he's not the kind of guy that deals with mind stuff. He is usually like a physical healer, and again, he's told you that,
Mm.
and you can get this frustration is at not getting something and at not be able to do something about this. This isn't something he can cure wounds or a healing word away or just kind of figure out a way to get rid of because this whatever this thing is that is wrong with you, Lao can't fucking help you, and that's pissing him off.
Mm.
Um, um, and with a 19, he is looking at your head, like again, because there's some stuff up there, but you see his gaze kind of drifts towards somewhere else. That seems to have another kind of magical affliction affected
Mm-hmm.
upon you.
Yep. And once Chifley twigs to that, he is not too subtly going to twist his body a bit so that his back is solidly pointing away from Lao.
I was just gonna. I'm not going to do anything with it, Chifley. I don't. I'm not going to make you do anything with it either. I, as much as I would like to try work on it, I don't think I can do. I can't help with that up there, and that whatever that other thing is. Would you would you would you let me? He seems to just kind of struggle to get the words out. Would, would you consider letting me take a look at the other thing?
Chifley curls in on himself a little bit. There's nothing that can be done now.
Roll an insight. Huh? Huh? Okay. It's a 16. I was looking at Chifley. Um,
Chif genuinely believes that. He believes that nothing can be done. And, like,
okay.
he's scared a bit. Actually, quite a bit.
Oof.
And, like, Lau also kind of gets the idea that the magic that sort of feels like it's embedded into his back is something that he kind of has the if I don't think about it, it can't hurt me attitude.
Mm. Okay. At first, he was feeling like, well, I see. And when he clocks on that it's like, I'm just going to ignore this and it will go away, his body just kind of, his outline just thickens a little and it gets like, there's like slight little points coming off at him throughout his outline. The three curls at the back of his head has slightly got like little tiny pokey points come out of them at slight points. And he just looks at Chifley and says, Chifley, I know you haven't been to the ECCR about your head, about your sleep issues. Have you? How long have you had the other one?
He kind of curls in a little bit more. Almost 10 years.
Blau blinks and just kind of, right. My apologies. I don't think I heard you correctly. Chifley, could you repeat that for me? And he just leans forward, puts his arms braced on top of his blanket, and he leans forward, cocks his head to the side, and says, "Because I could have sworn you said that you have had that for 10 years, and you're not stupid, Chifley. At least I don't believe you're stupid enough to leave yourself with something like that on your back, untreated and unseen, for 10 years."
It's not. And Chifley kind of tenses up, and he doesn't lean away from Lao, but like you can tell that the wall is going up a little bit. It's not unseen, it's not untreated, it's untreatable.
Mm. Do you want me to roll another insight to see if he's telling the truth on this?
No, like from the other insights that Lao has done, Chifley genuinely believes that it's untreatable. Like, he's not lying. He could be wrong,
Okay.
but he's not lying.
Okay. Chifley, have you actually seen anyone about your back? Or do you just believe that that's permanent and incurable and something to stay?
No one was able to do anything about it then.
Then. How long ago was then, Chifley?
When it happened. It's not something I've kept secret as such. People knew, but nothing worked. It's not that simple.
Chifley. You can roll an insight on now quickly if you want.
Sure.
I will say Chifley will sit. Oh, damn.
That's my boy.
Chifley. That is a 24 for Chifley. Ha, oof. Chifley, you're going to see Lao lean very slightly away. He's going to give you a bit of space, but his arms are still braced on his blanket. And if you like, just peek at him from the corner of your eye, there is, there's like a weird kind of almost understanding, sort of, but not quite, but sort of. As he leans a little bit away from you, tries to give you a bit more space, and he continues on. Chifley, just because something didn't work then doesn't mean that something won't work now. Things change. Advancements in medicine and technology, especially in Inkwell, change. I would like to think that I know a thing or two about the incurable. And he presses a little further down into his blanket as he keeps speaking. I am aware that sometimes you think that something is just the way it is. Chifley, I am living with something that is just the way it is. And I have. And you can see him kind of pause. With that 24, he's struggling, and he also looks kind of. It's kind of pained, but also kind of confused. Almost like he doesn't know why he's telling you this. Before he continues on, says, I know what it's like to live with something you think is permanent. But, Chifley, that whatever you have, don't give up just because you think it's permanent. When you give up, it becomes permanent. I gave up far too long ago for what's happened to me to be reversed. But you don't have to give up on that. It would be a service to yourself and to your sister for you to give up on this. Whatever this is, it's clearly not good for you. It's look at it, I'm sure you can feel that it's not good for you. And I think you need no. There's no thinking needed. It's blatantly fucking obvious that you need to go to the sea co-worker, see your boss, and tell them you've got a fucking problem. Because if you let this grow and you don't sort it out, Chifley, it's going to get worse. And then where will that leave you and your sister?
Chifley sort of. He almost sort of winces away from Lao when he starts to raise his voice a little bit. And I'm not gonna make you roll an insight. There's a little bit of tears happening.
Oh no!
Like,
Oh no! I need to roll insight on this. I have to. I have to. Oh no. Oh, different reactions depending on what he sees. He gets a 10.
yeah, Lao can tell that Chif isn't afraid of Lao, but the whole being confronted about this is not something that Chif's used to. Everyone who knows about what this is has kind of just given him that space, hasn't actually gone at him and gone, come on, talk about it, give me all the goss. So now that someone is actually pressing him, he doesn't actually know how to deal with that.
Sorry, I'm just imagining Lao saying, "Come on, come at it, give me all the goss." I'm saving that. I'm fucking saving that. Yeah. Sorry, Chifley, you're dealing with a stubborn fucker who is used to even stubborner fuckers, from where he's from,
Fair.
about shit, so, tough. He just leans back and sighs. He's gonna tip his head back to tonk on the back of his chair, and just gonna lift one hand up to cover his eyes and rub over the top, and he's just gonna gesture with his other hand. Chifley, just do yourself a favour, finish off your tea, pick up your blanket, pick up the blanket, and let's go. Right, I guess everything else is going to have to wait. We're taking you to the CCR. Getting it sorted.
Chifley will pick up his tea and have a new couple of sips. I don't want to be told there's nothing that can be done again.
Fuck's sake, Chifley! And he just pulls a hand down and looks at you. Chifley, if you just keep fucking sitting there, waiting for someone to tell you nothing can be done, then guess fucking what? Nothing's going to be done if you just keep sitting and waiting in fear. If you keep sitting and waiting in fear, then it's only going to get worse and nothing's going to get fucking done, Chifley.
It's easy enough to say, though. I was a child when it happened. It's not...
Where was I? Just because you're a child doesn't make you fucking special, Chifley. Just because you're a child, it happened, doesn't make you fucking special. And I'm gonna always save. That's good. Oh yeah. He's fine. Except yeah. And you just see him, as he shouted that, he leaned forward in his chair and he grasped the sides of his chair. They creaked under the weight, and you can see like slight grooves dug into the side of this wooden chair, because this is a real kind chair. And the amount of force he's put into it, there's actually now, you probably also noticed there's grooves there where he's also probably dug in before he takes a deep breath, leans himself back, pushes himself into his chair, slight adjustment. Just because you were a child and you suffered doesn't mean that everything is hopeless. Some people don't have a fucking choice. Some people actually cannot be helped. Just because you think you can't doesn't mean you can't. Doesn't mean you should give the fuck up and try. Because you have. Is there really nothing, no reason for you to at least fucking try and see if there's just something you could do to get this stain on your back off? Anything.
While Lao is going off at Chifley, Chifley's sort of doing that, you know, that progressively more and more tense, as if each word kind of compresses the person they're colliding with, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I am just gonna look at Chif's sheet real quick. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna have it happen. So Lao is giving Chifley the what for, and Chif sort of tenses and tenses and tenses, and then he grasps at his shirt, kind of on the side, and Lao probably hears the tearing of fabric a little bit before the hole in Chif's shirt is visible, but like he's grasped onto his shirt and he's tensing so much he's pulling the fabric and it's ripping.
I have to roll another insight because Lao doesn't know if Chifley is trying to do something not so good to himself right now. And that is an 18. It's an 18, not an 8.
So like it's definitely a trauma response. But like Chif's he's not dealing with this kind of talking to particularly well, and there is elements of him sort of half shutting down, but also the pulling at his shirt almost feels like, you know, when you just sort of want to go, well, here, fucking look at it. Like he's trying to do the very anime, grab the corner of your shirt and just pull, and then you've changed outfits kind of thing. But because there's so much conflicting emotion in him, it's ripping his shirt instead.
Oof, okay. Now, I did roll a whiz save earlier, that was a 19. I'm going to carry that on here, because if you roll low here, gosh. Now is going to see this. He is going to reach onto the couch for the discarded blanket, and he's not gonna ask permission because he's just not fucking like that. He's just gonna come up and he's gonna wrap the blanket around Chifley's back, and then he's gonna reach around the far side, pull it around until Chifley is like his back is covered and both sides of his the sides of his arms are covered as well. Like he's not restricting his movement, but he's wrapping the blanket around your back and the side of your arms, Chifley. There's a presence there. And now is going to very slowly grab both of Chifley's hands and try to tug them away.
Chif's very, very tense. And, like, even though Lao didn't do any more than put a blanket over Chifley's back, when you touch him, you can feel that his entire body has kind of locked up.
Right. Okay. Oh, buddy. And there's something he would cast here. The thing. I don't actually know how much bloody help that's going to be. Um, he is. Yeah, he probably would do this. Okay. Um, he's gonna very kind of almost uncertainly. Chifley's not gonna notice this. Chifley's having a fucking time. He's not gonna notice this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, grab Chifley's hands, kind of scoop them up between both of his own, and he's gonna give them like, just gonna give him a squeeze, and he's gonna cast Calm Emotions,
Mm-hmm.
which I believe, you can make a charisma save. You can choose to fail it if you want, or you can roll the charisma save.
Oh, choose to fail it, I think.
Okay. Right, you cast Calm Emotions on you then, Chifley, and whatever feeling is rushing through your head right now, just feel it start to get a little. The only way to describe it is smoky, hazy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, whatever the feeling is, just kind of slowly recede. It doesn't disappear, but it's sort of corralled by like slow seeps of like this dark, foggy smoke that just kind of seeps in and just tucks the emotion away from you right now, at least. Um, and Lao is going to say, briefly, I'm not going to make you show me, as I'm not going to make you show me if you don't want. Don't have to show me if you don't want anyone to see, right? I'm not going to make you do that, right? You have a choice. You have an option. You aren't. I will not make you do this. I won't make you show me this. The only thing I will make you do is go to the ECCR and get yourself checked out, at least for your head issues. At least so you can get sleep. You can talk about the other thing at another time, but at least go to the ECCR, get your head sorted out. Right?
Chifley sort of manages to pull his eyes up to look at Lao, and he nods. He's still very, very tense, and he starts making these movements with his shoulders that look like he's actually trying to get the blanket off him. But he nods. He will agree to that.
Okay. Lau's gonna see Chifley wants it off. Lau's um just gonna hold his hands and say, if you don't want the blanket, Chifley, just hand it to me quickly. Don't, please don't rip it.
Chifley sort of looks at this threadbare blanket again, and he's still with it enough that he's not completely flying off the handle or anything, but he does sort of drop one shoulder and very gently sort of use his elbow to kind of shuffle it around off his back, and Lao can actually see a lot of that tension sort of drop out of his shoulders once that extra weight is off his back, and he very carefully folds the blanket and offers it to Lao.
Okay. Lau's making a mental note about that. As you hold out the folded blanket to Lao, Lao looks like he's gonna take it, but then he just kind of like gently pushes it towards Chipley's chest and says, just hold on to that for me until you go to the ECCR, and then I'll take it back.
Chifley hesitates, but then he pulls it back in and he kind of hugs it to his chest a little bit.
You hug it, and again, you get that warm kind of campfire smell, the smell of like something dark and woody and smoky, and the smell of something that has seen many, many dryings over many, many campfires, potentially in many, many homes. Feels like something old that, oh, something old that has been used for a variety of reasons, and perhaps comfort is perhaps comfort is not a unfamiliar use for this blanket.
Mm. I'm I'm sorry. I
Why are you apologising, dipshit? Apologise for not going to the ECCR. Don't apologise for having a fucking panic attack. And he's just gonna like, yeah, I'm gonna make a whiz save. I have to see if he's gonna do this. It's a 2. He's gonna do it.
Oh good.
He's gonna just reach over and just wrap you on behind the head. Just like a dunk. He doesn't smack you like hard, but he just like taps you on the back of the head. It doesn't hurt really. It's kind of wimpy actually because he's got no fucking modifiers in his strength, guys. He's a weak baby man. Um, but he just looks at you and says, "Don't apologise for having a fucking response to something like that. The only thing I want an apology from you is for not going to the ECCR beforehand, and honestly, I think you just need to. I don't know if you want me to go with you. I don't know if you want to go by yourself. I don't know when time is going to allow us to do that, but just know if I'm not there, take that with you." And he very firmly, pointedly puts the blanket at you, and looks you very firmly and pointedly in the eye and says, "I'm not there. Just take that with you because those sorts of things are, well, they have a certain kind of power to it, and this isn't me letting you keep this. I want it back. Alright, so give that back once you've gone. Do you understand me?"
Perfectly.
And Al's gonna stare at you for a couple seconds and squint. Just slump a little in his chair, lean back, nod. And then he's just gonna kind of look over at the coffee table, where his now other blanket is soaked up pretty much most of the tea, and the other teacup's just standing there nooklessly, and he's just, I didn't even get a full fucking cup. God fucking damn it! And he just reaches over to the table and he picks up the mug first because he's not gonna fucking make a mess again. He puts that on his lap and then he just rakes in the whole blanket, rolls it up, and with a kind of like shiver of disgust, he just kind of lifts up his other blanket and shoves it under very quickly, flans it down because soggy blanket under proper blanket, ew. Before he just shakes his head and is like, "Right, so I actually expect you to go to the ECCR."
You can. I'll make an appointment for as soon as I can.
He spits his eyes and he says, "Chifley, I want you to make that appointment yes, as soon as you get, either as soon as you get to work or as soon as you can. And if I find out that you haven't, I'm going to put you in this fucking chair," and he points down at where he's sitting. "I'm going to get up and I'm going to fucking push you there myself. And trust me, you're not going to like that because I am going to bitch at you the whole fucking way that I've had to put you in a goddamn chair to get you to the ECCR that you don't need, and I very much do need, by the way, that I'd have to put you in that just to get you to go to the fucking hospital. Do you understand me?"
Do you want to roll an insight on Chifley?
Yes. Yes, I do. You scummy man. 13. 13.
Okay.
Right? Oh, it's a 13. It is a 13. Ignore the 3. It is a 13.
Okay. So, whereas Chifley has gone through a number of emotions in the time that Lao has been here, and the look on Chifley's face is actually a little bit strange for the context of what Lao is threatening him. It almost looks like he's smiling a little bit.
I'm gonna roll something here. Because depending on what he rolls for his whiz is depending on how he takes that smile. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's a 2. Thinks you're mocking him. He thinks you're mocking him, fucking Chifley. So this is what's gonna fucking happen. Um, I'm gonna roll outer space. And I can't believe this is where this happens. You're gonna see Lao just gonna fucking glare at you, and you're gonna see his outline, which had gone from spiky. It did kind of settle down while they were speaking, and now the spikes have come back, and they're a little sharper. And he's just looking at you, Chip. He's like, "You think I can't fucking do it? Do you honestly think I can't fucking do it?" And then he's just, you see him grip the sides of his chair, and he reaches under his blanket, and he pulls something out. He pulls out a wooden cane, Chifley, and he tonks that onto the carpet, and he looks at you, and I'm gonna roll a dex save with disadvantage, because he's not used this very often, and he's like, "You think I can't fucking push you up? You think I can't fucking push you up to the hospital, Chifley? I'll fucking show you," and he just, okay. That's what I thought. That's an 8. He gets up, and he leans on this. He hasn't used this in a while. Like, he doesn't use his cane very often at all. He does get up from the chair, but he kind of overestimates, and he just leans very heavily on the cane, and he's just, shit, and he just kind of leans back, grabs himself into the chair, and it just kind of wobbles a bit, and he's like, "No, no, no, don't you fucking dare, don't you fucking dare, don't you fucking dare." That was nothing. I will fucking put you in this chair, Chifley. Just you fucking watch me. If you don't go, I will put you in this goddamn chair, Chifley Forde.
Chifley puts the blanket down beside him and puts up his hands in a very "it's okay" kind of motion, and he just says, "You're very kind, Wow."
Roll me an insight. Roll me an insight, please.
Yep. Oh, that is not the right number. Right collection of numbers. 18.
You say you're kind, Lao, and Lao just kind of looks confused and kind of like, what?
I was threatening you. What are you talking about?
Exactly. What the fuck are you speaking about? He looks like he thinks you need to go to the hospital for another reason. Let's put it that way. And he's just gonna kind of like sigh and look back at his chair and then look back at you and say, I'm not actually going to physically make you sit in this chair yet, but I swear to you, Chifley Forde, if I have to make a fucking pinky promise about this, I will. If you do not go to the ECCR, I will find you, I will put you in this fucking chair, and I will push you there myself. And he's gonna just thump back into the chair. He's gonna keep his cane out though. He's just gonna cross that over his lap and look at you.
And Chip's kind of, he's got that odd little smile again, and he's not even sure why he's just all of Lao's cursing just sort of gone that this is gone from scary to funny, and I don't know why. I promise. I'll go, and I'll even tell you when my appointment is.
Nods.
I have spent a long time now putting other people first, so I probably do need a good smack around the head to, just like I told Cassie. I'm not a very good patient myself, I guess. But I promise. I'll make an appointment. The next appointment.
Lao smirks at that and nods, and you see him pick up one end of the cane and just kind of smack it against his hand with the other and says, "That's good to hear, Chifley, because if you need a smack on the head, I'm more than happy to provide it for you." And he also kind of just picks it up and just pokes you in the middle. And we rolled that dirty 20 earlier for medicine. Hey, you know what else Lao noticed earlier with that dirty 20? Chifley Hey, buddy, how's your eating habits? How's your eating habits?
Like, he's not not been eating,
Mm-hmm.
but he
Mm-hmm.
has lost weight since the last time Lao saw him.
That's what I thought, you fucking twink. Okay. I was gonna look at Chifley and say, Chifley, you absolutely fucking need to eat more. At least, I mean, that at least is a step one in getting better. You don't have to be a fucking doctor to know that. You need to be at least some sort of substantial weight. I'm not going to make you food because, quite frankly, I don't want to poison you. However, I would like you to eat something, and if I need to go out and bring you something, I will do so because if you need to again rest up a little bit, I don't mind going out and bringing something back, and we can actually have that talk instead of, well, and he just kind of clears his throat awkwardly, says, other than that, but yes, do either. It's just, he's got no words. His
Yeah.
words have run out.
Chip's gonna have this little ponderous look on his face, and then he's gonna turn and look over at a clock that's up on the wall. I haven't managed to get out the front door today, so I think I could, if you've got time to make sure I don't, fall on my face on the pavement. I wouldn't mind getting some fresh air.
Lau just looks at you, kind of squints, because are you sure you can make it out there? But no, I mean, he's gonna be with you. So if you do actually eat shit somewhere, he's probably gonna be able to get you back. And if not, you'll probably be able to call Sol to at least carry you to get you back.
Mm.
And he just, it's just like, well, if you're sure you're well enough to actually do it, then absolutely, let's go ahead and actually get you something to eat. And Chifley, I'm fucking eat it. No hiding shit. I know people sometimes hide food and just say they've eaten it and they hide it. Don't fucking do that. Eat it. I will watch you eat it. I will buy you a giant fucking stupid pudding and watch you eat it.
Chifley is every curse that comes out of Lau's mouth just sort of makes Chifley look like he's trying not to laugh, but he just nods at that, and then he reaches his hand up and draws a cross over his heart as if to say, yes, I promise.
Lao is mollified. And I think we can kind of end it there unless there was anything else you wanted to do with.
There was one last thing I wanted to see whether or not Lau would roll high enough for.
Okay, what would you like me to roll?
Well, before they depart, Chifley has noticed that he's teared a whopping great hole in the side of his shirt. So he will excuse himself to change, at least his shirt, put on his shoes and everything. But he has, because he's tired, because he had a migraine for most of the day, he didn't close his door the whole way. So would Lao like to roll a perception check?
Oh my fucking god! Come on, baby, roll for me. That is an 18.
That'll do it. That'll absolutely do it. So Chiv isn't changing his pants, so he wasn't too concerned and wasn't really thinking anyway, but he pulls off his shirt, and in the process of looking at the hole that he tore in it, and then getting another shirt and then putting it back on, Lao, when he glances over in the direction of Chifley's room, does catch sight of Chif's back and the brand burnt into it.
Oh god. Oh no. Oh shit. Al's gonna get a glimpse of that and he's gonna look away very quickly because, oh man, Whis, I'm gonna have to fucking talk to you after this reasons. Fuck me. Okay, he's gonna pretend. I'm gonna roll deception. He's gonna pretend he didn't fucking see that. And he gets a 19! That
Nice.
is a double 20, I think. Just check your deception mod. I don't. For some reason, I don't roll deception with you very often because it's shit. That's why. That is a 21.
Nice.
Well, let's see if he's looking for it.
No.
Nothing happened. He's just waiting for you. Um, and I was just gonna say, well, be quite frank, I don't actually know where exactly you would like to go or you prefer. And just as out the way, I suppose.
Chiff nods. There's a nice place not too far from here. We could go there. And he'll head towards the door and, I'd like to say phone wallet keys, but most of the things he has are in his hammer space, so, lock the door and walk slowly, because, he has had a morning. But, he'll just, plod along and they'll go down to this little, I'm thinking fish and chip shop that's sort of down the street. And he will absolutely eat every bite of what he orders and make sure that Lao can see him eat every bite of what he ordered.
Good. Lao will have, the fish and chips. I won't make you roll insight. He makes, weird faces as he's eating it. It's, not that he hates it, more that it just tastes weird to him. And I feel like we can close this by saying, because Lao completely forgot to ask this at the beginning, it just kind of zooms in on two of their faces, two little circles in a black void, and then Lao's curls just kind of duk, 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 and he pokes up, turns towards Chifley and says, "Oh, Chifley, I've got to ask, where's your sister?" And it just this is on that.
Great.
And that's how that ends. Gosh.
Splendid. Oh dear.
That's beautiful.
Wowza.
Well, I accidentally revealed some of my own, just a smidge of my own in this.
Yeah, that was
And
cool.
then-
I wasn't expecting that to come out.
Where was I? Now just fucking went for it, and then I was like, "Oh, we're doing this then."
All right. Sure.
Alright. And also he got to shout at someone. That was wonderful. Thank you for playing with me, Whis. I've been wanting to play this for a while.
No, this has been good. This has been good. It's about time somebody actually stopped giving Chip space and just sort of went, fucking go!
Yes, Lao's the guy for that. Thank you for playing with me, Whis, and thank you for people listening, both present and in the future. I hope you enjoy this, and I hope everyone has a good time, however they're doing.
Enjoy your time zone.
Enjoy your time zone.
Bye-bye.
Farewell, everybody. Goodbye.